And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
I haven't heard that term in a while. She's a harlot.
And we did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this.
There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
Wow. No, I haven't heard that one.
You guys, Meghan Markle really thought she could pull off the ultimate sympathy play. A few sniffles, some royal name dropping, and boom, the public would just melt. But guess what? Joe Rogan wasn't buying it, not even for a second. He came in swinging and completely tore apart the whole emotional act.
That's the big distraction.
That's the big distraction right there.
There's a war room, apparently, in England.
Joe saw right through the drama. Meghan was out here trying to give us emotional breakdown realness on a podcast, but Joe, he just sat back, raised an eyebrow, and asked the question we were all thinking. Where's the tear? No mascara streaks, no red eyes, no tissues, just vibes, and not even convincing ones. She sniffled. She paused dramatically. She stared off camera like she was searching for her inner trauma. But nope, not a single tear dropped, nothing. Just the performance of pain.
And we did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear? There's nothing there. Look, it's an actor's trick. She just keeps wiping and wiping and wiping, so we think she has a heart.
Now get this. Meghan goes on Jamie Kern-Lima's podcast, right? Supposed to be this deep, inspiring girl talk moment. Instead, it turned into accidental comedy, like serious secondhand embarrassment. She brought absolutely nothing real. It was all buzzwords, empty self-empowerment lingo, and over-the-top worship of her husband. Think emotional TED Talk energy, but with zero soul.
Yeah, I guess everybody falls down one side or the other. Do you support Harry and Meghan? Do you not?
She couldn't stop calling Harry hot and amazing, like 5 times in a row. Joe was like, what even is this? He roasted the moment so hard. He said it sounded like she was reading a fan letter to her own husband. It was so cringe. Not empowering, not authentic, just one big cheesy self-love ad that no one asked for.
Well, Harlot's bad, right? She's just powerful. She's
Actually, that's a good point. Harlot and temptress.
Yeah, I think Harlot's
Comparing melons to apples.
And the tone? Ugh. So curated it hurt. Meghan didn't sound raw. She sounded like someone running through a checklist of how to sound real. Struggle? Check. Mention Harry? Check. Sniffle? Check. Humble brag about being a mom? Check. Joe nailed it. Was this a podcast or a Netflix pilot pitch?
Yeah, that's a whole
I take that back.
Yeah.
It's a error.
Yeah, I don't think she's that.
No.
Which she is.
No.
And let's talk about the energy between Jamie and Meghan. Office. So off. It was stiff, overly scripted, and totally lacking chemistry. Meghan wasn't there to open up. She was there to sell something. You could feel it. It was more pitch deck than podcast.
Oh my God, Meghan. She has this really famous thing where she says, one tap left eye.
Meghan wanted people to be like, OMG, she survived so much. But instead, the reaction was, OMG, did she just plug her brand mid-tear? Joe said it straight. This wasn't empowerment. This was PR. A fake vulnerability ad campaign disguised as an emotional moment.
That whole fucking thing.
That thing. But yeah, the war room, I guess it makes sense. Look, these people are under a microscope and, they got to figure out what their messaging is from...
Joe didn't need CSI to figure it out. Meghan's cry was dry as a desert. Her face was perfectly lit, her voice quivered just enough, and she took a pause so dramatic it deserved its own award. But the tear? Still missing. Everyone online noticed, and everyone dragged.
A really good thing to have as an actress, but you're completely...
Then Joe brought the receipts. Yep. He pulled up a clip where Meghan bragged about being able to cry from her left eye on command. You cannot make this up. Coincidence? Joe didn't think so. This wasn't a breakdown. It was a performance. Oscar buzz incoming.
This podcast with Jamie Kern-Lima was absolutely car crash. I mean, Jamie Kern-Lima is actually a very successful woman, self-made billionaire. However, she is a fame whore because, she first found fame
Yes.
by appearing on the first series of Big Brother.
And oh my God, the internet went wild. Memes, reaction threads, TikToks comparing her to soap opera divas. Twitter broke it all down, from the furrowed brow to the precise sniffle, and dubbed it audition face. Joe didn't even have to do much. The fans did the dragging for him. This was Meghan's big emotional comeback. More like PR disaster dressed up in Gucci and fake tears.
United States, but she's had that totally scrubbed from the internet because now she believes that she's the new Oprah Winfrey. And the problem is, you realize these are the types of people Meghan Markle is surrounding herself with. And none of them.
Let's be real. Actual emotion doesn't need a lighting rig and sniffle schedule. Joe exposed the whole thing. The prep, the polish, the performative pain. And now, Meghan's big moment is trending, but for all the wrong reasons. He didn't stop there. Joe brought in backup. Body language expert Scott Rouse analyzed the footage. And guess what? More receipts.
Listen to the new episode today of Confessions of a Female Founder. You know, she calls everyone female founders, and I know you find that very, very ridiculous, as do I. And it's with this British woman called Hannah Mendoza, who actually...
Stiff shoulders, forced smile. Her eyes weren't lost in emotion. They were scanning for approval. That wasn't vulnerability. That was control. Joe couldn't help but laugh. Meghan says she's better than okay, but her face looked more like she was ordering a latte at Starbucks.
And called Clever Blends, and Meghan invested in her company. But the podcast is meant to be Hannah Mendoza's story, right?
And that's the problem. Meghan's words were all about healing and strength, but her body, it was in performance mode. Posturing, performing, protecting. Rouse even said she was overthinking every little move. Classic acting, not feeling.
Like for her to invest in this woman, Hannah Mendoza.
All she does, she only has...
She wanted to be seen as a survivor, a mother, a misunderstood queen in exile, but her body language gave her away. Instead of feeling relatable, she came off rehearsed, and that blew up the whole plan.
It's like she's her boss. So like Meghan is Hannah Mendoza's boss, effectively. So clearly she's keeping to the script. But there's this really awful moment.
And now it's not just gossip, it's expert confirmed. Meghan's moment wasn't genuine, and the mask is slipping. Joe's podcast didn't just hint at it. It exposed it loud and clear. Even her own body didn't believe her story. And if her body's not buying it, why should we? So, just when Meghan tries to act like she's so over the royal drama, boom, she signs a jar of jam, wait for it, with her royal title. Yes, that happened. In her podcast video, on full display, there's this basket of strawberry jam with a cute little handwritten tag. Harmless, right? Nope. It's signed Her Royal Highness. The title she literally gave up. The one she's not even allowed to use anymore. And Joe Rogan? He lost it. He was like, hold up, did she just forget she's no longer a working royal? Or is she straight up trolling Buckingham Palace? Like, girl, you can't scream I want out from the monarchy and then casually flex your ex title on a jam jar. Make it make sense. Joe said it best. You don't quit your job and still show up in the uniform. And to make things even weirder, Meghan low-key mocked Hannah Mendoza, this wholesome, down-to-earth, earth mother type, just for showing up to the interview like a normal person. It's like Meghan needed to feel above it all, and it just came off snobby. Now guess what? Meghan's apparently now the executive producer of all this podcast drama. Oh yes, she's steering this ship. Unfortunately, it's sinking. Online, the roasting was relentless. People were like, is she seriously that delusional? Others called it desperate, clingy, and straight up embarrassing. Even royal commentators got in on the mess. They pointed out that using her royal title like that, on camera, might actually breach her agreement with the palace. Yep, she could be in big trouble. So what was supposed to be a cute, humble jam moment turned into yet another PR disaster. Meghan wanted the world to think she was thriving on her own, but all she did was remind us she's still clinging to that royal identity she claimed to walk away from. And oh, it gets worse. Because guess what? Meghan is now being sued. A woman is coming after her for $10 million, claiming that a bath salt recipe featured on Meghan's Netflix show literally burned her skin. Like, severe burns. Ulcers. The whole thing. Apparently the woman is diabetic, and Meghan's trendy bath mix made everything worse. And Joe? He was shook. He was like, wait, how do you go from Duchess to bath bomb bandit? Joe wasn't just laughing. He was worried. He pointed out how dangerous it is when celebrities hand out wellness advice without any actual medical science behind it. He literally said, you were on Suits, not Grey's Anatomy. And honestly, facts. You can't just go around giving health tips to millions of people because it looks aesthetic on Netflix. It's not just cringe, it's potentially harmful. And now it's turned into a full-blown legal mess. Joe made it crystal clear. This lawsuit isn't just embarrassing, it's dangerous. If it gains traction, every single health-related thing Meghan's ever promoted could come under fire. Brands, partnerships, products, all of it. Because now, she's not just a duchess, she's a defendant. And the worst part? This isn't even the only storm she's walking into. Reports are flying that Meghan is already shopping around a post-divorce memoir. Yep, that's right. A big, juicy, multi-million-dollar tell-all is on the way. Because apparently the first few weren't enough, Joe didn't hold back. He dropped a bomb and asked the question on everyone's mind, why is Meghan trying so hard to erase her past? He even went there, to the whispers. The yacht girl rumors. The alleged connections to shady billionaires. The luxury parties. the high-profile circles she ran in before Harry came along. No confirmed proof, but the internet's been talking about it for years. And Meghan, she never addresses it. Not once. Not even to clear it up. Joe was like, if it's not true, why does she dodge the topic every single time? Why not just say it flat out and shut the rumors down? It's the silence that's suspicious. And then there was that line from the podcast. Meghan says, I haven't lived enough life to write a memoir. Girl, you're literally shopping one right now. Vanity Fair even confirmed it. Joe pointed it out. The timing is sketchy, the image is curated, and the more Meghan tries to serve polished princess vibes, the more the internet digs. And they're not letting go. Joe's audience wasn't even mad at her. They were just exhausted. Over it. The constant contradictions, the never-ending performances, the fake vulnerability packaged as empowerment. It's a lot. She says she hates the press, but then she sells her trauma to Spotify and Netflix. She says she left the monarchy, but then signs jam jars with royal titles. She says she wants to be relatable, but then shows up in designer clothes with a PR script and lighting crew. The public's had enough, and Joe made that loud and clear. So here's the thing. Joe Rogan didn't just come after Meghan to stir the pot. He used her as a mirror for what everyone else is feeling. It just reminded everyone why they stopped listening. The public didn't fall for the performance. They exposed it. The fake tears, the fake empowerment, the scripted chaos. Meghan wanted people to feel sorry for her, to admire her, to love her again. But what they saw, another brand pitch dressed up as a trauma tale. And Joe Rogan, he wasn't being cruel, he was being honest, brutally, unforgivingly honest. Because the truth is, people don't hate Meghan. They're just tired. Tired of the contradictions, tired of the mixed messages, tired of the nonstop press cycle built on leave us alone energy while launching another new product or memoir. And at this point, Meghan and Harry aren't people anymore. They're a campaign, a walking, talking brand strategy that forgot what real connection even looks like. And now, with Joe Rogan laying it all out, the performance, the legal risks, the royal title slip, the yacht girl rumors, the fake crying, the lawsuit, the PR spin, the house of cards is shaking. Because when Joe talks, people listen. And he didn't accuse, he just held up a mirror. And when Meghan looks into it, she might not like what she sees, from Duchess to defendant, from royal rebel to jam jar signature drama, from homemade bath salts to actual lawsuits, from crying on cue to forgetting which camera to cry for. This wasn't a reinvention. It was a meltdown, in high definition. And now, the crown she once tried to leave behind is the only thing people still associate her with. And not in a good way. Meghan thought the podcast would win hearts, but all it did was remind everyone she's still performing, still clinging to a title she claims to hate, still trying to sell empowerment while drowning in branding. And Joe Rogan, he didn't just tear down the act, he burned the whole script. The message was clear. You can fake a tear, but you can't fake being real. You can't fake being